Hey everyone, I'm Caryn Solomon, and welcome to What's IGN Crushing On, IGN Africa's official entertainment podcast. So this is a show where we discuss all things entertainment and pop culture with a new guest every week. We bring recommendations, news, and fun facts, sometimes touching on the more serious issues surrounding these topics. This week on the show, we were joined by Rozanne McKenzie. Rozanne is a TV producer, a presenter, a radio host, voiceover artist, actress, and much more. We chatted about the highlights of her career, her love for true crime documentaries, and why she's obsessed with celebrity tabloids. It's a lot of fun, and I had such a joy chatting to her. You can listen to our interview here. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. This is like a moment for me. Proper, because I'm such a fan. I'm like a proper fan, and I know it's going to sound like fangirling deluxe, but I'm such a fan of you.
Oh my gosh.
And then now this podcast came along. Like, I just think you're amazing. I want you to have a whole media empire where you write about stuff and you write shows, and I just want that for you. I'm putting that in the universe. I promise you.
Please, can the universe please hear you?
Yes, thank you.
I wanted to say, like, my family thinks I'm like catching on all this nonsense, but like the minute I told them that you listen, oh my gosh, that's like the highest accolade like I've ever gotten in my life.
My word. When you speak about your family, like, I think of them as celebrities. Like, I'm trying to remember what the tweet was where your mom said, like, this Oprah podcast, I'm like, do you know who you are speaking to, Mama Welby Solomon? This is our queen here. Where's your respect?
She's so mean. And she doesn't also say podcast. She says she pronounced the D with like a T, so it's like podcast. Ek sê alweer besig met die podcast.
No, they don't have time for you, but I have all the time in the world for you, so I can't say thank you enough for having me today. Like, I'm so excited.
So how have you been? Like, have you been keeping busy? I mean, I know you're like super busy, but like, how has things been during this tough time?
You know, it's been a tough year for a lot of people. But I've actually had a really good year. And I know for freelancers, it can be up year or a down year, especially if you're in the media or whatever. So it's actually been pretty good for me. I mean, with the lockdown, it was a bit stressful because I was waiting for confirmation on a show, a TV show, and I wasn't sure if we were going to be able to do it. And also, like, trying to juggle everything, getting my business off the ground and teaching my kids. Like, I've been a teacher as a profession.
Okay.
I will never do it again. It's not something that I was called to do in my life. But unfortunately, for those like 5-6 weeks, we had to do it. So it was hard, but I must admit that luckily I've actually had a pretty good year. And long may it continue, because you never know.
No,
you
yeah.
really do never know. My whole
think
thing
positive.
Exactly. Make hay while the sun shines. If they want to put everything, go and just do it to the best of your ability, and fingers crossed they'll ask you back.
So what made you decide you wanted to go into broadcasting?
I wanted to be in broadcasting, I think, since I was a kid. So I'm an only child and my mom's a single mom. So when I was a little bit older, so when I was smaller and my mom would have to work night shift, I used to go to my grandparents' house in Bonteville and like spend time with them when I was smaller. But then when I was bigger and my mom and I had moved out of their house eventually, I watched a lot of TV. I watched a lot of TV. So if my mom was doing night shift or working an extra job here and there, I would be watching TV. And even when I was a teenager, like I had a lot of freedom because my mom was just like, okay, if you want to go out, you can. But I never wanted to because I was always just at home watching TV. And I loved TV. I loved TV and reading. So I never really got bored. And when I would see people reading the news on TV, it was always like a wow. I think since I was even like small, like not even a teenager, like probably 6 or 7, I was like, yo, that's like that lady knows everything. She's telling us from out of her head what happened today in the world. And I knew I wanted to be that lady. Somehow that I wanted to be that lady. And that's when the broadcasting bug bit, I think. And I knew I was gonna do whatever it took to make my dream come true.
So what would you say has been like your highlight of your career thus far? Because I mean, I feel like you've done a lot and you still have so much to do. So
yeah, I'm like a bit mook sometimes, I won't lie. But I think some of my career highlights have definitely got to be some of the interviews that I've done. So I interviewed Gerard Butler.
Oh, wow.
And Aaron Eckhart when the first Olympus Has Fallen came out. And they were so nice. They were so nice and they gave us extra time and they were just really like, yeah, so nice. And then I've also interviewed John Cleese, who I was wrecking it for that one. I won't lie. Like I was proper nervous because it was one of those junket things where like you get this much time and he's already answered the questions so many times before, but he was so nice and he really seemed like he was enjoying speaking to me. He is a very good actor as well, so that could also be the reason why he was pretending to be enjoying speaking to me, but he did a very good job. And then like my main one that I always say is interviewing Archbishop Desmond Tutu was a huge thing for me. Because also I interviewed him in Afrikaans and it was his very first volledige, complete interview that he did in Afrikaans. And he was so humble and so nice. And just, it was like, this was about maybe 10 years ago. I think, no, it was 9 years ago. It was in 2011. And it was just something that I'll never forget. Like, it was just great. And then I guess this year is I'm going on and on and on, but anyway. I guess this year would be having the first TV show that I produced be broadcast on VIA. Like I'm so proud of Omgee Engele, like the work that went into it and just all the obstacles that we faced, you know, like shooting under level 4 and like not knowing if we were going to make our deadline and for a first production, like I couldn't have had it worse. And it actually exactly the timing, you know, and it's actually just been I'm so proud of it and I'm so proud of what we've accomplished.
So yeah, tell me more about Omgee Engele. Oof, look at me trying Afrikaans.
No, sounding lekker there. Sounding very lekker. So Omgee Engele is it's an idea that I had a couple of years ago. I work as a presenter on Jacaranda FM. And a couple of years ago, I had spoken to someone on the team about making a TV show out of Good Morning Angels. So Good Morning Angels is this charity initiative that happens on Breakfast with Martin Bester, which is the breakfast show on Jacaranda FM. And every Wednesday, they find, I mean, people write in, like Diane Broderick is the producer of Good Morning Angels. And people write in if they've got any kind of need. Like I just think of some of the stories that we've had. A woman last year, Christel Nagel is her name. Her house burnt down, and her daughter passed away, as did her husband, as did her daughter and her husband and her granddaughter. And only her and her little grandson were the surviving members of the family, but she lost everything. So, like, people that have really, like, real needs. So they make contact with Good Morning Angels, and then there's a whole selection process of who's going to get helped and who's not. Like, I don't know how Diane does it because you can't help everyone. I don't know how the team decides. Anyway, so every Wednesday they have an insert on the breakfast show of the Good Morning Angel story and how they changed those people's lives. So I was like, you know what? The listeners and people that aren't necessarily Jacaranda FM listeners, they want to know what's happened to these people. Like, how did your life change after Jacaranda FM helped you? You know, so I wanted to like revisit those stories and then also give the people that have been helped before an opportunity to pay it forward and give back to someone else. So the idea didn't come off the ground when I initially pitched it, and then I don't stop. And then I in 2018, when I've kind of formally had my company, I was like, come guys, let's do this. Let's pitch it to a channel. Ria loved it, and they wanted to come on board, and we got a sponsor, and yeah, we made the first series this year.
That's amazing. So like, what made you decide to start your company though? Like,
you know, like I've been on so many shows, Caryn, that have been cancelled. So let's start there, okay? Like, I honestly have been on so many shows that have been cancelled, and it's always stuff that I love doing. It's always stuff that I really love. But then it's nothing that the show's done wrong or that I've done wrong. And that was a big learn for me, where I was like, oh, maybe I just really suck and I'm never going to be on another show ever again. So the first time that it happened to me, I was really like cut up about it for months. I was so sad. And also like just practically financially, when you've got something that's stable for like 2-3 years, now all of a sudden that rug is pulled out from underneath you. I mean, I was on a show 2 years ago. I got 48 hours notice that was my last.
Sure.
My last show was. I walked in on the Monday, and you know this.
Yeah, I know
that the classic blind side. I walked in on the Monday, and they said, "Oh yeah, you know, Wednesday will be your last bulletin." I was like, "Sorry, huh?" So I just want to also not be dependent on contracts getting renewed and on my work in front of the camera. I wanted to build up a new set of skills and be able to also create work. And then from a more kind of global viewpoint, I don't think there are enough women of color at the table making decisions making decisions at channel level, making decisions as executive producers, showrunners. So it's time now for us to take our place. And if I must start small, I'll start small. If I must only be at that table in 15 years, I don't care. This is now my beginning. This is now where I start to be at that table, because I think I do have a valuable insight from out of my life experience. I don't think that there are enough people talking out of my viewpoint. So that's also why I wanted to start, for the selfish reason of I want to be in the room.
No, that's 100%. Like, you are so right. Like, there aren't enough. I mean, in South Africa and especially in the world, like, just we need to see more women of color coming forward. So what would you still like to do in your career? Like, I feel like you've done so much.
What would I still like to do? I want to produce things that the world can see, that the world will see South African stories. I guess, like, I think I want to produce a show that's a format that is internationally recognized. First of all, because that's how you make money as a producer. But also, like, I want people to watch stuff that I have produced. So I think that's the end goal, is to get as many eyes on a Rozanne McKenzie media production as possible. So the end goal is that. How I do that is maybe between now and 15 years, I'll maybe have that answer. But I want as many people to see the stuff that I produce, because I love TV. Yeah. I absolutely love TV. So if I see, like, if I watch a show and you see that little logo that comes up at the end of the production company, and they made that, you know, like that team made that thing that you were so engrossed in for 48 minutes or 24 minutes of your life for that week, and you can't wait to see the next one. That's the kind of stuff I want to make.
So I feel like you have also met so many gay people. So if there's one person that you still would like to meet, who would that be? I mean, like alive, not dead.
Oprah, hands down. Hands down. I didn't even let you finish your question.
I love it. I love it. I love that you're dead.
It's such a cliche, but I love her. I love her.
Mm.
Like, I just think her mind as a TV icon is just, and she's not even really doing TV anymore, but she's always on to the next thing. She started her network, or she went into acting, or she produced a movie, or she decided to start publishing magazines. She's like a proper, for me, the example of a media mogul.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing that she can't do. And also, you know, my other thing with Oprah is her background is so humble. The beginnings of her life are so humble, and she struggled, and she's had so many things to overcome, and she's been so open about all of this as well, like her weight, where she grew up, like what happened to her as a child, just the family dynamic, like all of that. She's like an open book, and I just want to know her.
No, I get that. I'm like, to have that kind of freedom also to just do whatever. Like now she has that Apple show, and then she has a podcast, and she has like what do I feel like doing today? I feel like starting something new.
Yes, or going to a royal wedding, or like, and also everybody wants to know Oprah because they know she's great. Like her greatness is just infectious. Like everybody wants to be around her, including me.
So what would you say is like the biggest lesson that you think you've learned thus far? Like,
I think the biggest lesson that I've learned thus far is to not take things personally, which is hard for me. Like, I mean, I say I learned the lesson, but I'm actually still learning the lesson. Like, everybody's not going to like you, and everybody is not going to think that the show that you've made, that you poured your heart and soul into for months and months, is the best thing that they've ever seen on TV. But it might resonate with one person. So maybe that's okay. Like, it's a big thing though, not to, because when you put yourself out there in terms of making any kind of art, I say art, but making any kind of thing for people to either like or dislike, it's a hard thing because people can say, it's shit actually. I don't like it. And then there you are, having like thought that this is the most amazing thing that people will ever see. And unfortunately, everybody's not going to think that. So I think the lesson that I'm still learning every day, and whether it's how I present or the things that I produce, everybody's not going to always like it. I don't take it personally.
That's so true, but it's also like so brave putting out anything. And I'm just like, I'm thinking of like you, like being on camera and having to go out every night. Oh my gosh. I have like anxiety thinking about it. I think I'm like sweating thinking of having to do it.
But you know what? You're doing this with this. Like this is your baby. This is your baby that people get to have a little sense of you for an hour every week, of things that you want to know and the things that you are passionate about. So it's a similar thing. And hopefully you don't get too many. Hopefully you don't get too many tannies coming up to you in the street telling you how fat you are, because that's always a bietjie van 'n leerskool. It's just like having to bite your tongue.
Oh my gosh, has that happened?
No.
It isn't.
Caryn, has it happened? The amount of times. Someone said to me, I was emceeing an event the one time, and this lady came up to me and said, can I speak Afrikaans here?
Yeah, go ahead.
And she said, weet jy wat? Jy's nogal groot gebou, hoor? Maar nogal lekker gebou. And I was just like, okay, you just came up to me and said that. And people go, oh my word, you do look as big as you aren't.
Oh my gosh, I hate people.
People are, wait, this is my most recent one. Someone said to me, you know what? When you're in a group photo, don't stand on the outside of the photo because it just makes you, on the outside of the group, because it just makes you look so much bigger than the rest of the people in the group. Make sure you stand behind someone or like in the middle.
Like, how do people think that that's okay? I'm like, how does your mind work? I can't fathom that.
I also can't fathom it. And I think that's why I don't get upset, because I tell some of my colleagues about the things that I've had people say to me. And they are just like, I would just go postal. Like, I would tell that person exactly where to get off. And you know what? Like, I've had it so many times, and I know I shouldn't like let people bully me, but I'm at a point now where I try not to let it bother me.
Yeah, gosh.
But people have opinions. Opinions.
God. You're a brave girl. No. I would have been crying every night. I would never be able to.
Don't worry, in the beginning, I was, stuff like that would break me. Like, honestly, yeah, proper.
God,
proper.
I
But now
I try.
No, don't worry, my mom is still harsh. Last year when we went to the UK, my mom was like, oh my word, when you got off the plane, I thought you were pregnant again.
Oh no.
She was so excited for the third grandchild. I was like, no, can you relax, please? 2 of them are enough.
Oh, your son doing his little broadcasting thing was so adorable. Oh my gosh. I still showed like my sister and stuff. I'm like, this is the cutest thing.
Yeah, reporting live from my room under lockdown level 5. Shame. I must just learn actually not to leave my phone lying around. Those kids
leave it. Let him do more. We need a part 2.
We'll have a whole channel. He can pay for his own school fees.
So tell me, like, what have you been reading?
I have been reading not a lot.
Yeah, most of us haven't.
Yeah, like, so I always know when I'm getting into a funk, like mental health wise, is if I can't be bothered to read. If I'm just like, nah, just leave it. Like, I don't. What's the point? I'd rather just sleep to something or not. But I have started, and it's taken me a while, and I've only now gotten back into it. I am reading Kamar, which is by Jamil Khan, and it's his, I want to say, a memoir, but it's a book about his experience growing up on the Cape Flats with the family that he had and being the person that he is. And it's so good. It's so good. And his descriptions of the places and the people and all, the aunties in the street and even his parents, like a lot of it is quite heavy, because he speaks about, initially he speaks about his mom and dad's alcoholism and how it affected him and his sister. And it's just like thinking that someone had to go back to that place. And it's very clear that he does go back to that place, because the descriptions are so vivid and so clear. And it must have really been hard to write that. But reading it is so, it's almost like you're there, Yeah. So I'm reading that at the moment. I'm not done yet. And then I do have I have a very guilty pleasure. I love UK tabloid gossip magazines, like massively. If you ask me about Katie Price, I'll be able to tell you what her current boyfriend's name is, why she's in the wheelchair, what all 5 of her kids' names are, who their dads are, because she's got 3 different baby daddies, how many times she was married and engaged to whom. That's my guilty pleasure. So I do.
Okay, wait. I'm quite interested. Okay. Katie Price now. Why is she in a
Yes.
wheelchair? Why? What is going on with her?
She had surgery on her feet.
Oh, okay.
And there is a possibility that she will have to learn how to walk again. So we all live in hope.
Was something wrong with her feet?
Yes, I think she had bunions removed, if I'm not wrong. And then there were other things also that she needed to have done, and she did them, and now she's wheelchair bound. So it's a big drama. But with Katie Price, there's always drama, because otherwise, how's the Heat magazine going to sell? Because now they can't hark on Meghan Markle anymore doing all the wrong things. Now they must leave Meghan alone. So Katie Price has to fill those column inches.
I feel like she has held that spot like strong for decades.
And she's not going anywhere because the boyfriends get younger and the babies just get more. Because now the new thing is that her and this guy, she's dating a guy called Carl Wood, who's like in his early 30s, if that. He was a contestant on Love Island, but way before I started watching it, because I don't remember his name. And they are thinking of having a baby, even while she's in this wheelchair. So she creates the drama to make sure that she doesn't ever leave the spotlight, even if it's having 5 unnecessary plastic surgeries a year. She's out there going to Turkey, getting that procedure done, getting packed off the plane. I'm sure she's phoning the people. They have like an email schedule of where Katie Price is going to be and at what time, and then the paparazzi's outside there to catch the moment. If not, if she's probably getting someone, her boyfriend, to take the photo and send it to the Heat magazine. Possibly.
Yeah, because what else is she doing? Like, what is she else is she doing career-wise? I really want to read a book, though.
Which one? She's written a few memoirs. She's got a lot of stories to tell. Some things that weren't in the Heat magazine that are exclusive to her books. And I think she's writing another one. I'll double check that for you.
Did you see Mariah Carey as a memoir out now? I'm actually really keen to read that, though.
Me too, because she's going into like vivid detail about her relationship with Derek Jeter. I also wouldn't mind having a relationship with Derek Jeter. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, like proper details there. I love it. I love a trashy memoir. Me too. I really do.
Tell your own story. Bring out your own gossip. I love it.
Yes. And also like I don't know if you, because I'm obviously quite a bit older than you, but I don't know if you remember, there was a stage in the UK when every like star brought out a memoir. Even Victoria Beckham, Cheryl Cole at the time, they all brought out memoirs, and they wouldn't dare write stuff like that now.
Yeah, no, I read. Okay, I was obviously very cheap, so I read the Victoria Beckham one in the U magazine. Like they had like a snippet of. So yes. I read it.
What was it? Learning to Fly.
Yeah. But I used to work for a bookshop that used to sell like cheap books, but a lot of them were imported from the UK. So we had loads of those, like celebs I'd never heard of, but like everybody had a memoir.
Yes, they were on one episode of Pop Idol. They're coming with a memoir. Expect the memoir. And I miss those times. Like, I feel like people are censoring themselves a bit too much now. Like, their image is so, like, important. But back in the day, like, people were telling their stories.
Do you watch the Big Fat Quiz of the Year?
I don't, but I've heard of it.
So they do this thing where like they get
it's a
panel show, yeah. So they get like a very classical British actor, and then they will read from like a trashy memoir, and then the contestants have to guess whose memoir it is. But they'll get like Charles Dance and stuff, and he'll read like something like my panty dropped onto the floor, and then like it's so, and then it's like some Love Island star or something like that. And it's so funny. It's so brilliant.
Too good.
I also have like this thing where like if I'm stressed or something like that, the first thing I will do, like it's usually like in the middle of the night, and I will like Google recent celebrity breakups. And then I will just like go find like a PowerPoint presentation on like people a slideshow or something and just go through. Just makes me feel calm.
Yes. Also, like just knowing all this useless information, also, it's such I feel better. I really do. So I understand that calming feeling. I get it. I totally get it.
Oh my gosh. I wonder if Heat magazine struggled here because there just wasn't enough like celeb gossip in South Africa.
No, I think so. I think so. I don't know if maybe if they launched. That's what I was about to say. I feel like if they launched now, it would be next level. It would, because there's so much stuff happening and there's so many more celebrities.
Yeah. Is it one website? What is it? I don't know why.
Celebs.
They are like the Heat magazine of now. They pick up on everything. This person liked this one's Instagram.
Yes. Listen, don't you find like those people that like no? I always used to, when I was at varsity, I used to always every day go on Perez Hilton to see.
Yeah.
You know, I used to do that white circle of shame when everybody was doing so much cocaine, and he used to like do it on their faces and like so I would read Perez Hilton often. And back then, even, he would know like who had unfollowed who on Twitter before it was even a quick click of a thing. And I used to want to know like how much time do you need to go and do that, or like how quick people are to see, oh, Sophia Richie doesn't follow Scott anymore. Big news. Big.
But I feel like now you just need to follow tweets. Like some fan will go and look for that stuff. You don't even need to do it yourself.
No, you don't.
Yeah, someone will be searching all the time if Sophia and someone that wants Scott and Courtney to get back together.
Exactly. Or you know those fan accounts that people make on Instagram and on Twitter? Like they always know first about everything, and then the worst ones of those, or the most like on the ball shop ones, are the Real Housewives. Those people that run that, they know exactly who's being demoted to a friend of the show, who doesn't have any money anymore, who, like, they know everything before it's in the press. It's the best thing.
But I think like with that, because it's reality, like it's easier to keep track of what's going to happen in the show.
Yeah.
But still, it's hectic. I can't even imagine spending like as much time as I love spending on celebrity, like stalking and stuff, like having to
check who unfollowed who and why.
And why did this person not like this person's post?
Exactly. Or like going into detail of someone's Instagram quote. Like remember when Kanye earlier this year had his episode and he was talking about Larsa Pippen, and then everybody went onto Larsa Pippen's Instagram to go see that she'd unfollowed all the Kardashians and she'd done some quote about like, keep your friends close. I don't know what it said, and people like piece the whole story together. Like, I'll read the story, but I don't be the person that must go and be the detective.
I look through Leighton Meester's Instagram, who she's following on Instagram, just to see which gossip girl. I don't know why. I was bored that day. And listen, I'm unemployed. But the only reason I could between jobs. The only reason I could do that is because she only followed like 250 people or something like that. Like it was an amount that I could work through.
Yes, manageable amount.
A manageable amount. Oh, but I think I also just search. Like I suppose that's easier about Instagram. You can search who they follow. But me, I can't imagine having to do that all the time.
No.
Being a Stan account is a lot of work. Not for me.
And and like then you get those hardcore ones like the Beyonce Stan accounts.
Oh gosh.
Like where they will see there's a little bit of a blue check thing on the tablecloth of she's pregnant, she's having a boy. That's what you got from her being at a restaurant with a blue tablecloth in the corner.
The Beyonce fans and Beyonce, Nicki, and Taylor Swift, they are always finding clues. They are like an Adrian Monk. I like
exactly.
Oh god.
Proper.
Like I don't have time for that. Yeah. Uh, so you mentioned that you enjoy watching like Netflix documentaries about people. So what have been your favorite this far?
I recently have watched American Murder, The Family Next Door.
I haven't seen
And
that yet. I want to watch it though.
oh my word, it's stuck with me so much because I read, and my husband like hates this about me, but I like lived on the Crime Channel. When we first started dating, like I would literally watch the Crime Channel until the early hours of the morning. This is before I became an old lady and had to be in bed at 9 o'clock. I would just like love like watching forensics and watching detectives piece together a mystery. Like it just feels like a mystery to me. So having watched American Murder, I just feel like it's really affected me, and I don't know, because when it happened and the case was in the media, I was every day like looking to see, had they found them? Is he involved? Like, but actually watching this documentary, which essentially they've pieced together out of her Facebook posts and body cam footage from the police, and then the legal proceedings. And obviously like the messages and stuff in between. But it shocked me. It shocked me so much. Like it's really stayed with me how you can't really know someone.
Yeah.
You think you're married to someone for however many years, you have 2 kids with them, you've got a baby on the way, and nothing is as it seems. And just also the fact that I think that the fact that it's a family thing also really stayed with me. And then also there's a statistic that they put up at the end. I forget what the exact numbers are, but they say that if there's a parent that's going to murder their kids, it's more likely they're not going to be the dad. And I know that this whole, like we've had so many debates about this men are trash thing, and can you actually ever really trust your partner? And that documentary really just brought up all of those questions for me, like major. Then, on a lighter note, I have recently watched a documentary about JFK, because like I knew the kind of the like folklore, I say folklore, but you know, like everybody knows his assassination and he was married to Jackie and all of that, but just the ins and outs of him as a person. Like he wasn't the best at school. His brother was always better than him, always like that one level that he couldn't get to, and how he kind of found himself and then found his voice in politics and would have, I think, been one of the longer running presidents of the United States. I think what he was trying to do by the time that he was assassinated would have made a huge difference to even, I think, where they are now.
Yeah.
So that was fascinating and not as harrowing as the other one that I watched. Yeah.
I love they're zeroing in on specific people. Documentaries is so good. I actually want to watch the Jackie one as well. I'm quite keen to watch it. Have you seen that one?
Yes, so I've seen the Jackie one, and the Jackie documentary is part of it's a 2-parter, but each one is on a different person. And the 2-part series, I want to call it, is called Sisters. So it looks at Jackie and her sister, whose name I've now totally forgotten.
The Lee.
Radziwill. Lee.
Yeah, Lee, yeah.
Jackie and Lee. And then in the other one, it looks at Amelia and Muriel Earhart.
Oh.
And just how it kind of like juxtaposes the famous sister and her path and the non-famous sister, and how their lives diverge, but they still need each other. And they still are interwoven in each other's lives, even though their lives are so vastly different. So I thought I loved that. I thought it was so fascinating because the only thing, this is how cultured I am. I knew about the Radziwill because Carol Radziwill used to be a Real Housewife of New York. And that's how I knew about the Radziwills. I didn't know that that it was that much of a close, that she's basically Jackie O's niece. But yeah, we live and we learn. Netflix is there for that. And Netflix has also, for me, made the documentary sexy. Like, there's so many different things that I've watched documentaries about that in my life I would never go, let me watch a documentary about why we shouldn't eat meat. Like, I didn't want to watch that 5 years ago. Probably wouldn't even want to watch that 3 years ago. But because of the way that they've packaged, and because of the way that stories are being told now, it's really freaking interesting.
Because it's like they advertise their stuff, and it's like, I haven't seen that octopus documentary yet, but so many people have watched it. I'm probably going to end up watching it. My parents bought me like National Geographic documentaries when I was small, and I'm like, I want to watch this shit. But I used to get so bored. And I watched the one
100%
on Coral on Netflix, Chasing Coral. And like, listen, if I don't care about don't care, but I mean, if animals are boring to me, plants are. So, but I watched that thing and I was crying by the end of it because they are so good. And like, now you want to watch, like, now I'm going to watch that octopus thing because everyone's talking about it. It's like Netflix keeps saying we have this documentary here for you on my notifications. I'm going to end up watching.
Exactly.
And it's good because now, you learn about things you probably wouldn't have.
100%. 100%. Like, even, and also, what's also great with that kind of talkability that's created now.
Yeah.
Like, I was thinking the other day, like, when I was at school, like, we used to always talk about, when we used to watch Beverly Hills 90210 in simulcast, and the Afrikaans was on the TV, and then you could put Radio 2000. Yes, and Melrose Place. Then the next day you would speak about, like, what happened with Brenda and Dylan, and, like, and then for a while I felt like when TV kind of took on this thing where it's not actually TV and you watch a whole bunch of stuff at the time when you want to watch it, there's not that kind of next day talking on the playground thing. But now everybody's talking about stuff together. Like, you'll hear, like, in the 1 week when The Social Dilemma came out, I haven't seen that yet. But literally 4 different people that I know that are not connected to each other in any way were all sending me WhatsApps or on a call saying, listen, you must watch The Social Dilemma. I didn't listen, but I want to watch it. It's on my list to watch because people that I know have watched it and said that it's amazing.
Yeah, no, I agree because I remember when Netflix, first came to South Africa and people were complaining. They're like, oh no, I want to talk about an episode of Sense8 the minute it comes out. I don't like, like with everybody. But now you can talk about the entire season with somebody.
Exactly.
Although it takes forever to watch stuff. And then I'm like, oh my word, guys, have you seen that? And everyone's been done talking about it for months.
And they're like, Caryn. But don't you also feel like, I feel now almost like there's an overload of stuff.
Yeah.
Like my list of things I want to see because you've got Netflix, Showmax, DSTV, SABC, ETV, even though we have all seen Anaconda, sometimes it needs another watch. Like, there's all this stuff. And then I just feel so almost like overwhelmed because I want to watch all of it, especially now because Showmax is coming through, with stuff that is so current and so new that America's only like watching it now as well. Yeah. So I do feel a bit of pressure that there's almost too much of a variety. I'm not saying people must stop making content. Definitely not what I'm saying. But I do feel like all of the things that I feel are up my alley, there is so much of it that I don't almost know where to start.
It's like I got a message and people they were like, when are you going to start watching K-dramas? And I'm like, guys, I'm barely keeping up with what I'm watching right now.
What's K-dramas? Is it like Korean?
Yeah, Korean dramas. But
K-pop.
Yeah. So Netflix has like quite a big selection.
Okay.
So and a lot of people have been into it. I can't speak with any kind of knowledge because I haven't seen any, but I've heard it's very good and I've heard they've like got good romance and it's fun and people have really been enjoying it. So I want to watch it and like it's been recommended to me by so many people.
Are they like telenovelas?
I don't think so. I don't know a lot about it.
What do you want to go fast for, Annie? I don't know.
I don't know, but I don't think it's like telenovelas. But yeah, as I was saying, like now that it's so easy to watch content from anywhere, you can watch content from South America, like Brazilian shows. You can watch, especially with like Netflix. And with Showmax getting more and more things from other African countries, like it's a lot. So what are your favorite things to watch other than like true crime?
Oh man, I love. Like if I could choose one thing to watch every day for the rest of my life, it would be Survivor.
Oh, definitely.
American Survivor.
It's the best.
That is my number one show. It's better than any scripted TV show I've ever watched. For me, Survivor is the epitome of what TV should be. I just love it. Like the production value and the location, and then just the personal dynamics where you root for someone, and then you get so emotionally attached to this person who's going through the most on an island in the middle of the Pacific or wherever they go. And then that, and you really want that person to win and go through. But then that night, someone decides to vote in a certain direction, and then that person goes home, and you're just like, oh, like it's the best show. So Survivor. I also quite enjoy. I like to take a break, like from thinking. So I have recently binged all 3 seasons of Selling Sunset, and like, wow. What, have you seen it?
I have not seen it, but I've been hearing so much about it.
It is pure fluff bubblegum TV. It's like the human incarnation of scrolling through Perez Hilton or checking celebrity breakups in the middle of the night. It is so, it's like what the Kardashians used to be. In terms of entertainment value. And there's this chick on it called Christine Quinn. And she does not care what comes out of her mouth. So she makes so much drama. So you know what the thing is for me? Like, I think Americans with reality TV, I think they get it. And I think they get it because they are American. And I don't know if that makes sense. Like, I'm not saying the stuff that we produce here is not on the level. But in terms of the people and how they interact with cameras and how they create the narrative in a reality show. Like, I mean, South African Survivor is great. I watch it every week. I've got stuff to say on Twitter every week. And I can't wait for season 8 when eventually they can go and shoot it wherever they go. But American Survivor, those American people, and like it can be somebody from a farm in the Midwest that doesn't even watch TV. That person's personality just makes the show, and the interaction with the other personality types. And I don't know, but Americans in reality TV are match made in heaven. Absolutely. Absolutely.
But you don't think it's like just like a really excellent casting? Like they know who to cast.
That as well. That as well. And also, I mean, there's 500 million people that live there, I think.
Yeah, okay,
so you've got this huge pool of varying degrees of, I want to say sanity, but varying degrees of personalities and personality types. And you know that if I put this one with this one, it's going to be like putting oil on a fire, and it's just going to make the most explosive TV. Or these two will really get along. Or like if you watch something like I watched MasterChef Australia, and now I'm thinking of how they've taken that format, which was initially the British format, which was okay to watch as a cooking show, but not as interesting as watching these 24 people in a house for 12 weeks making stuff out of their heads without recipe books and whatever, and how the like most unlikely people become friends in the process. And I think that is also down to the casting and the different personality types that they get. But I mean, like, yeah, I'm a huge reality TV fan. Huge.
You must have watched Love is Blind.
Yes.
Because I'm like,
Yes.
casting a person like Jessica, like, you have to have, like, it's just so excellent. Like, I was just like, we would have forgotten completely about this show. I mean, yes, there was the two couples that ended up together. They were cute, but we would have forgotten about it if we didn't have this absolute mess of a human being. I mean, but then we found out
100%.
that Mark was just as much of a mess, but he was just better at hiding it. But I mean,
Exactly.
but putting her in the show was
But also,
brilliant.
it's absolute brilliance. Because you've also, for something like that to work, you've got to have people that are going to put themselves 100% out there. And she did that by getting drunk quite a few nights. I don't think I've ever seen someone drink that much red wine. Like I've never in my life. And also, I always wonder how. And like always, even on Selling Sunset, they're always out for drinks or drinking or whatever. I'm like, how do these? I want to use the B word. How do these women stay so skinny if they're like out drinking red wine? Like she was literally polishing off a bottle of red wine in every episode. And I'm just like, where is it going? Where is it going? But yeah, you've got to have that like mess to make the drama. And that was like, I mean, you're so right. It would have been forgotten or totally forgettable if everybody was nice. Did you watch Too Hot to Handle?
I did.
Or was that just too trashy for you? Okay.
I did watch Too Hot
So
to Handle.
if we didn't have Harry and Francesca,
Oh my gosh.
what was that show?
Exactly. I barely remember anyone else's names other than Harry and Francesca.
Harry and Francesca.
Even if actually Francesca alone, like I think if she wasn't there, I wouldn't have remembered Harry.
Mm-hmm. So you've got to have that kind of like femme fatale that just makes puts everything into motion and creates the drama.
But I think that's like the seams sort of that you can see with Love Island. Like they're always constantly looking for that type of character. It's always a person they add in later. And like,
yes.
So you can see how these kind of shows are created. But I think going back to what you said about Survivor's like the purest form of that, because it's like they should. I mean, of course, there's some crazy characters, but I mean, like they should have no real idea of who the people are that they are casting. Yeah. Like other than like these people know how to survive, whatever. Like, but the way that they edit and the way that they bring it out is so like I was like, the reason I love Survivor so much is because I love twists. And like almost every episode there's a twist. Like you always, and I can see it coming, like everyone saying, oh, we're gonna vote for Mary, and then at the time it comes to tribal council, it's gonna be Jack that's gonna go out. But you still
exactly. And then, or if you watch an episode of Survivor from another region or whatever, and there's no twist, or people vote how they say they're going to vote. Oh, blah. No. That was a boring episode because in the American one, there's twist after twist, and now 40 seasons later, you don't think, oh, guys, you guys have done what you've done now. I think every time I watch a new season of Survivor, I'm going to just be like, okay, cool. Maybe 3 or 4 episodes in, I'm going to like lose the excitement of the fact that it's a new season. And I'm just going to move on with my life. No, I'm living for that next episode because I know that it's going to just catch me completely off guard what they're going to do next. And I don't know how they keep coming up with it. Even the games. Even the game. Like it's just goes to a level that I can't even wrap my mind around that. I just wanted to say something around that Love Island point that you made. And it is so clear every year that they bring in a little chechi to stir things up. Like I'm now thinking exactly as you mentioned that, I can give you when they brought that Megan Barton Hansen in, she came and caused all the drama. Then last year, or not last year, the season before the one we had this year, when they brought Maura in.
Yes.
And it was just like she came and just the things she said and the actions and like what she was doing was just made for peak TV. Like you forget about the other people. You focused on the person that's entertaining you.
It's brilliant though.
But Yeah, it is brilliant though. And a lot of them, obviously with Love Island, a lot of them do go on to have careers as reality TV stars and whatever. But I don't know if in South Africa, if you were such a shit stirrer on a show, if people would forgive you and that you would come out and have this amazing career. I always say to my friend, I have a friend who's a huge Survivor fan as well. And I always say to her, like, I feel like I could do the show, but I don't think I would do the show because I would be Boston Rob. Like, I would lie. It's like it's $1 million. But then I think to myself, okay, it's $1 million, and then you come out and you have no career because you lied to every other person on the island. So I think I'll stay on the couch for Survivor. I don't think I'm gonna join the tribes anytime soon.
My friend Najwa, she's like a diehard. Like she plays like
she did the online.
Yeah, she did the
online.
For her. She won, and like, but she knows all the moves. She was like, I'm being like Tony now. Like how? You watched Survivor 40, didn't you?
I did.
How amazing was Tony? Like I couldn't actually deal with how good he was.
He was good, but I was rooting for Natalie from the day she got sent to exile. So I was like,
I get. I honestly thought, like in my heart, I was like, the correct 3 people were in the final. Like I thought Natalie worked the hardest on what is it called? Exile.
Was it exile or redemption? It was. I can't remember.
On that island, she worked the hardest. Tony was playing the flashiest game, and Michelle knew how to maneuver the underdog game. So I was like, those 3 were the perfect 3 to be in that top 3. Like nobody else deserved to be.
Absolutely. But now, Caryn, like in the 40 seasons that Survivor has been on air, it's literally become like a chess game that people study. So they think of all the moves and they think of all the possibilities. So when you are even on day 1 coming in, it's not even about finding water or making a fire or building the shelter. It's about already kind of being 3 steps ahead of the other 17 people that are there playing this game with you, you know? And that for me is fascinating, that people, it's really like just a game of wits.
I think it's very interesting to see like the way Adam plays the game, because he is like he watches every. I mean, like I didn't watch his season, but basically Najwa told me, because she's also a student of Survivor. But she was like, he has watched every season. He's watched the South African version. He's watched the other. You know, like he knows any move that can be made. Because she was saying that the one move that he made when he tried to get because I also haven't seen the South African one, but when he tried to he thought the podium was an immunity idol, and he said that happened on the South African. She said that happened on a South African Survivor, so that's where he got the idea from. And I'm like, what? Like to have him like that is literally you are studying that. That is your course in like.
Yes, exactly. They should have a university course on Survivor, and they wouldn't run out of course material, because it's just getting better and better.
Yeah, I have Boston Rob and Sandra teach. That's the enticing the people who made careers out of this.
Exactly. Boston Rob made his whole life out of it.
Yeah, you look
like his entire life.
He met his wife on there.
His whole career is being Boston Rob. Like he's not even Rob. I can't tell you what's his surname again. Rob
Maria
or something.
Rob M. I remember his first season when he was
Rob
like,
M. Yes,
Rob M. Like before he was Boston. Oh my gosh! No, but Survivor, amazing. So I wanted to ask you. Okay, the question I ask everybody, but like, who was your first celebrity crush?
First celebrity crush. Have you seen that movie, The Three Ninja Kids?
No. I might have seen it when I was small. 1989.
Yeah. So the three ninja kids, right?
Mm.
They were three boys, and they were and I had a big crush on Colt. Colt was one of the, I can't remember. The actor was Michael Trenor, but he was very, very cute as a kid, like beyond, absolutely beyond. So that is the first celebrity crush I can remember, is Colt from Three Ninja Kids. Oh my gosh, what a cutie!
Like, I don't even know who the actor was, but like Rick from Bold and the Beautiful, like the young Rick. I don't know.
The blonde one,
But
Jacob Young. Jacob Young.
Jacob Young, because it was like the only person I don't know, I couldn't have been the only person, but I used to like watching soapies, and there were so few that were like like my age or like a little bit older, and Rick was like a teenager still, and like, I don't know why.
Yeah. No, he was
Jacob
hot though.
Young.
He was
I think
very
that's his
hot.
name. I used to love TV Plus. I should.
Oh yes, 100%, because it would like give you the synopsis of what was going to happen the next week, and like
Yes.
100%.
I still have like
100%.
because Days of Our Lives, like I think I have a special place in my heart for that now. Like I love that show. But there was one point I was super into it, and then I had like a little scrapbook where TV Plus used to have like what's gonna happen for the week and the cast, and then they also had like an interview, or either like a feature like did you know, or an interview with an actor or something like that. And I used to cut out every week, and I just have a book, like an A5 like exercise book with like each week's thing about Days of Our Lives in it. But
do you know who also? No, I can totally understand that. I can't remember what his character's name is, but he's one of the brothers on a show that I don't watch. It's a show where they're like Supernatural. Jensen Ackles.
Jensen Ackles. I love Jensen Ackles.
Yeah.
But like we
still to this day.
We were like so behind in Days of Our Lives at that point that I knew him first from like Dark Angel. And then I thought on SBC3 with Jessica Alba.
Yes.
I knew him first from there, and I thought he was so hot. And then he came into Days of Our Lives afterwards on South African TV. And of course I watched that. But I mean,
the hottest for me in Dark Angel had to be Michael Weatherly.
I know, I hated him.
I still get a little twinkle in my eye when I see him. I think he is just, even still to this day, like I think he's
even in
so
Bull.
hot.
No, I don't like him.
100%.
I don't know if I didn't like that character, or I think I liked Jessica Alba with Jensen Ackles, because I think I kind of saw her as like a stand-in for me because she was tan.
Yes.
And Jensen Ackles, I liked him, so I wanted the two of them to be together. And I'm like, this guy's just getting in the way. And even now, like I get annoyed. Like I don't watch Bull, but my sister's like super into it. So if I like come in the room and she's watching it, I'm like, this
just walk out. What is he doing? But they dated, hey? Like in real life. Do you remember that?
Yes, I remember that.
And there was a massive age gap, and everyone was talking about it.
Oh, I don't remember that.
He was quite a bit older than her. Yes.
Yeah, I think
proper relationship.
But before we end off, I just wanted to do like a little bit of like a would you rather? Like I'm gonna give you two like actors or celebs, and then you tell me which one you prefer. Okay.
Do you have to give a reason?
You don't have to, but you can if you want to.
I probably will.
Okay. Okay. Jake Gyllenhaal or Chris Hemsworth?
Oh, wow! You're coming through with the classics here. Wow, that's a hard one. That is a really hard one. I'm going to go with Jake Gyllenhaal.
I will go with Chris Hemsworth, but okay, I get you.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I like him. He's like tall and he's funny and he's Australian and but I'm not such a big fan of him though, but I like him.
I know, right? Like I don't know if it's because Liam he seems a bit more like standoffish, like because obviously I know him very well. But he seems a bit less relatable. Like even though Chris is so attractive and like a box office superstar, I feel like he's more relatable than his brother, which is maybe why he's so famous and well liked. But in that instance, I'm definitely going to choose Jake Gyllenhaal.
Okay.
I don't know. There's something about him. I think it's his eyes and his mouth.
He does have that thing. And especially since he's done like the Spider-Man and stuff, he's just been more like, he seems more relatable now. And he's like doing funny things. And
yeah. And also, like, I think he is, I really enjoy him. Like when he's on screen, like I enjoy watching him. So I'm going to go with the old Jake Gyllenhaal.
Okay, Leonardo DiCaprio or Chris Pine?
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Classic.
And you?
No, I don't know. I like Chris Pine, but Leonardo is old school for me. Like, you know what I mean? But also, like, I don't know. I don't like all the young models though.
Like for me, Leonardo, like even now, even though, have you seen that meme that says, "Please save the planet. We want to leave something behind for Leonardo DiCaprio's girlfriends." But he, in his heyday, like before Titanic, because Romeo and Juliet was before Titanic. Like that was one of the movies of, like, I love Baz Luhrmann. I'm a huge, but just that whole movie, the soundtrack, like everything about it, just him in that movie. Like that's how I still see him in a way. So I'm going to go with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, me too. Beyonce or Rihanna?
Evergreen. Oh, how many Beyonce stans do you have that listen to this? Because I don't want to be and they find you. They will find you. Even the American ones will find you. They'll find you. Rihanna. Okay. Because she is, just to me, like very cool. And the way that and it's not I'm not comparing talent at all now. I'm comparing who I would rather hang out with. I think I would rather hang out with Rihanna because she looks like fun. And she's also like quite a, and I'm sure Beyonce is this as well, but I love how Rihanna has diversified. And I honestly don't think we're ever going to get another album. I don't think she wants to tour anymore. I think she just wants to make underwear, make makeup and skincare and go on with her life. I don't think she wants to be a musician anymore. I think she just wants to be rich, which she now is. Not that she wasn't before, but I think she's like retired now from music. But I just think she's so cool. And she's also just very much, I don't know if you get this vibe from her as well, that she's like, she is who she is. And she seems quite comfortable in her skin. And I like that about her.
Yeah, no, I get you 100%. I wrote this and I was like, I actually don't know who I would pick.
So now you're leaving me hanging for all the stamps.
No, okay, wait. Okay, I'll pick Beyonce.
Okay. So at least you got
no, I do like. But the thing is, like, I do like Rihanna's music, but Beyonce just has more for me to like. If that makes sense.
Yes, that's also true. Yes, yeah. If we're gonna go on a musical thing, just the music, then I would go Beyonce.
But I don't.
If it's like,
yeah, I want to say I think I'd get along with Beyonce because I think she's kind of like chill and like she seems quite like reserved, but I also don't know if that is what she's like because we don't know enough about her as a person. So yeah, either or. And I do think Rihanna might be a bit like, I think I might bore her, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think I'm a little bit.
She'll be like, okay, Caryn,
can we go out? Party. I'm like, I'm tired. I need to go sleep.
Where's my cup of tea and my blanket? Please. It's 8:53 p.m. Yeah, that's so true about Beyonce. But it's like what I was saying earlier. Like Beyonce used to give interviews all the time. She used to give little sound bites and whatever. But now, as she's become more guarded about her image, we don't get that anymore. Like if she's doing an interview, she's doing it with herself. And someone is just shooting the cover, someone that she's chosen. Yeah. So she's at that point now where she's like almost like curating what we know about her, which I mean she's earned now.
Yeah, but
also makes her less relatable in a way.
Yeah, but and I suppose like she will always have her fans. Like I was talking to some media people about like interviews where celebs interview each other, and they were saying that it's such a way to control the narrative because you don't really feel like you're getting anything new. It's usually just people like praising each other, and not
Exactly.
So I'm like, but so that might be a little bit less approachable. But I do remember Rihanna's interview with Sarah Paulson. I read that and it was so good. So like, and I felt that she
But
was
Sarah
very
Paulson
open.
can do no wrong.
Oh yes, you're a
Sarah
fan of
Paulson
Sarah
can do no
Paulson.
wrong. Yeah, she can do no wrong. But on that topic of like celebs interviewing each other, I think that's what happens often when a talk show host, and it never happened in my opinion, it never happened with Oprah, where a talk show host is actually more famous than the person that they're interviewing, to the point where it's almost like the interviewee is just so excited to be in the presence. And I'm probably going to get some hate for this, but I think that's what's happened with Ellen. Like Ellen is so much larger than life.
Yeah.
And the people that come on her show are like minor celebrities in comparison to her. And that's probably why, now that all this backlash has happened about alleged stuff happening on set where she wasn't very nice and all of that, and all the celebrities that have come out to praise her, because she's put her nice face on for you, possibly, that she relates to you as a celebrity, so you don't see that she won't look you in the eye or whatever, because you are on her level or possibly even lower.
Yeah.
And
I think that like talk shows have also changed so much. I was listening to Rob Lowe on his podcast. He was interviewing Gwyneth Paltrow, and he was saying like it's tiring for them. Like they're like, you can't just go into like Jimmy Fallon and like talk about the movie you're promoting. You have to play a game. You have to shoot a ski. You have to do all these things, and it's like
exactly.
And they like, they're like because he was talking about why he started his podcast, because the two of them have been like friends since like the early 90s.
Yes.
He was like, why have you decided to do this? He was like, because like, sometimes you just want to talk and you don't want to like shoot a 10-minute video and have to play pin the tail on the donkey and
carpool karaoke and all of that stuff. Like, it's like I was saying the other day to someone, I was listening to details of some competition, and it was literally like you had to jump through hoops to get entered into this competition. I was like, Losie Price, just leave it. I don't actually want it. I'm not going to do that to myself. Where's the competition, Caryn? Where like you just wrote in who was the celebrity guest on this week's episode of da-da-da. And you sent your answer in and you got spammed with unsolicited messages from the sponsor of the competition, and you either won or you didn't win. But now you must you must do this, and then you must tag this person and hashtag this, and then you must make a video of yourself making a noise like a fire engine, and like, nee, ek is moeg. Am I going to win or not? Please.
I used to win a lot of competitions when I was like a teenager. My mom's like, why don't you enter competitions so much anymore? Because I was like, because when I was a teenager, I used to write this, either used to email or I used to write it on the back of a postcard, and then that's it. Now I have to do so much stuff that I'm like, nope. Like,
And also the quality of the prizes has gone down. So it's like, you get this and this. But meanwhile, you used to be able to write in and then you used to win a car just from collecting stickers at a shop or whatever. Now I must pretend to be the car on Instagram in order to get into the... No. Thank you. In order to use the car for a month. Not even your car after that humiliation. Nah, man.
Anything I have to make a video for? No, never. When you're making a video to enter Survivor, there's nothing else.
Exactly.
I love those videos that they make when they show them like running around in their gardens.
Yes. Like painted with face paint and like running around with like buffs on their head. No, too good.
Oh my gosh. Good. You know what they should do? So, like, I know we're like going way off topic, but like what they should do next season for The Bachelor or whatever, South Africa, is they should show us those videos that they make. I want to know what these guys are making to get into, like, to become a contestant on The Bachelorette. I want to know. Like, what did they say?
100%.
What did they say?
100%.
I'm a great boyfriend.
I've been single for 7 years, but I do know from the half of a relationship that I've had that I would make a good boyfriend. I'm actually looking forward to that, but I don't know if it's going to come this year because, how are they going to work around it? Like, what if she wants to kiss one of them or whatever?
I saw on Instagram that they started filming, that she was in Joburg. But I suppose if they quarantine, they can do whatever they want to. So I mean, if they're all staying in that one house, then I mean, I'm sure
same house, yeah. But that's what they've tried to do now with because I'm a huge fan. I'm also going way off topic now. I'm a huge fan of Strictly Come Dancing, the UK version, and they are doing that this year. All the dancers are in one hotel. And the celebrity contestants have to essentially, if they're not at their job or at rehearsals, they have to like isolate basically so that they can create this bubble. But then this young guy, Harvey, a musician and some YouTube sensation, he got corona, I think 4 or 5 days ago. But luckily they 10 days out, I think, from the first episode airing, and they haven't yet been paired with their celebrity partner.
Oh, okay.
So at least they still have this. But if they get closer to the broadcast date, the live broadcast, and someone gets it, that whole production, and I mean that's the BBC's money cow, hey, literally, like they kick all the other reality shows butt every year. Because people love Strictly. So I'm very keen to see how, and also like how they're going to do the group dances and all of that kind of thing. I wonder.
Yeah. It's so interesting. Like, I mean, I don't know if you saw that, how, like, Netflix is like reversing renewals of shows and canceling them because of COVID. But I don't understand why they can't just isolate together. Shoot and then
exactly and shoot and get it finished.
Yeah.
But I heard today, Alex told me today at the studio, he told me that Succession, which is one of my absolute favorites, I've only discovered it now during lockdown.
I really need to watch it. Oh my gosh.
So good. It's so good. Because first of all, I was like, what is this boring show? Like, why are people talking about the show? Like, because it was winning all of these awards and stuff. And then I watched literally one episode and I was absolutely hooked. So they'd started shooting season 3 and then COVID hit, so they've shut everything down. And they now are only looking at, because the producers apparently don't want to compromise on how they want to shoot their show. So they want to shoot their show as they want to shoot their show. So if it's in New York, in Times Square with 100,000 people, that's what they want. So they've now pushed it back to 2022. And then they've also pushed back Bond to next year, the new Bond.
But that is done.
And
this is what I don't understand.
Apparently,
because
exactly,
they just want people in the seats. That's what they want.
That's the thing. Because now they're saying that Bond's postponement could result in 2 movie chains closing down completely. Because if nobody's releasing, what are the people going to watch?
Yeah. But I see like Batman and stuff is all moving. Like, I know that's still filming.
Also, it's filming, but I think Batman was also on that list of moving to next year.
Yeah, it's 2022, I think now.
2022. Moving to 2022. I'm already in
2021. You sorted.
It's all paper. I'm done. 2020. Someone said today, I'm putting my tree up. I'm done. Because it's just, it's been a lot. It's been a hell of a lot.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, what a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. This has been, I feel like I've known you. And I'm so happy I finally got to meet you. Amazing.
It's so weird that this is the first time we're talking, because I think I've told you before, I literally feel as if, we are like kindred spirits. I know. I always talk, whenever I see you on TV and I'm like, oh, there's my friend. And my friend's like, you don't even know her. I'm like, I do.
No, but it's the same. I always think, oh, maybe I'm like that annoying reply girl. Because whenever you have a thing, I've always got something to say. So I'm like, okay,
No,
put the brakes on here. Don't come on too strong. Don't come on too strong. You don't want to be like friend zoned into the friend zone from like, it's like instead of one of my friends, one of my followers, that I just become a follower, I would like die.
So that was our interview with Rozanne. You can find her at ROZMCK on Twitter and at Roz McKenzie on Instagram. Her new show, Omgee Engele, is on Via, which is channel 147 on DSTV on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Links to everything discussed will be in the show notes. I'm alone here today, so I'm just going to give you a little bit of what I'm crushing on this week. It's kind of boring to do by myself, but anyway. So this week, I spoke about this in my newsletter, but I've been loving old episodes of The Mary Tyler Moore Show. It's an American sitcom that ran from 1970 to 1977. And it's very much an old school sitcom, which means like it's like very like fun and very simple and not that heavy like a lot of the ones we have nowadays. The fashion is cool, and what also makes it great is that it's centered around a woman in her 30s who is single, like not divorced, none of that stuff. And it's just really, really fun and funny. And if you're looking for something to just like to keep things light in these times, like I suggest you YouTube The Mary Tyler Moore Show. A podcast I'm also extremely into, but I've been a fan for a while, as in years as well. But I was listening to quite a few episodes this week, is Unqualified with Anna Faris. Basically what happens is she has a different celebrity guest on, they chat a bit, and then they take calls from normal folks asking for relationship advice. And it's not just like romantic relationships, it's like friendships, co-workers, like colleague relationships, all different topics. And it's really interesting, and it provides great insight into different psyches, and it might give you advice to something that you didn't even know that you needed. So yeah, that's all from me. You can catch me on at Caryn Welby on Instagram, at Caryn Welby's with an S on Twitter, and sign up for my newsletter, Wildest Dreams, at wildestdreams.substack.com.